Hi everyone, and welcome to StudioJake. I, of course, am your host, Jacob Airy. So before I get started, I want to show you my novels. They're all available. I started off with this one. This is Cacophony, Tale of Faith and Fear. It's a paranormal story about angels and demons trying to stop the angels from helping out the city. It's really good. Most of it is from the angelic perspective and whatnot. It's really good. I think so. Highly recommend it. So check it out. It's available at Amazon and Barnes & Noble. And then, of course, my fantasy series. So if you're kind of bummed out about Lord of the Rings, check out my fantasy series. So this is the first one, All Good Things. It is the first part of the Seven Royals trilogy, and it's about a group of fairy tale-esque characters who have all been kidnapped from their homes, but then they're hidden. And their leader, who's the guy on the cover, Prince Jasher, he awakens 10 years later after we put him to sleep, and he has to take his blue-bladed sword and find the others so they can take back their kingdoms. It's a lot of fun. Definitely check it out. And this is the sequel. The Seven Royals are reunited in Breaking the Stars, which involves a very sinister villain called the Wicker Man. So check both of these out. I think you'll enjoy it if you like Tolkien, C.S. Lewis, and a little bit of Akira Toriyama. These are the books for you. This one is available in physical and digital forms, places like Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com. Breaking the Stars is available in a physical form at those places as well. However, if you want it digital downloaded, you have to go to BookLocker.com, where it is an exclusive digital download. So, without further ado, I'm continuing my series that I started, which is a Normie Reviews. I did the first Mass Effect game. So I want to reiterate something. When it comes to being a gamer, I'm a try-hard, not a die-hard. I certainly enjoy playing video games, but I'm not like into the whole gaming culture. And I'm just saying this so you don't think like I'm some sort of grifter trying to get involved. And I normally don't review video games or talk about video games unless I really like them. So you might find a couple of articles about certain ones like Batman Arkham or the PS4, now PS5 version of Spider-Man. So I might talk about those, but that's because I'm more invested in the Spider-Man, Batman side of that, not necessarily because they're video games. Well, a friend of mine, a very old friend of mine, we've been friends since I was in junior high and whatnot. He goes by Scratimus on Instagram. He sent me Mass Effect Legendary Edition as a gift, and he said his one request was that I reviewed. So Mass Effect Legendary Edition has all 3 games in one disc, and you can carry over your data, which I believe that was something that you could do before, but it's a little bit easier since it's all in one disc, and you can play all 3 games. So I played the first one. You can check out that video. It's not that old. I think I gave it a solid 3.5 because I said I like some of the concepts and abilities in it, and I even like the overall story arc. But I thought there were problems with the animation, and I felt like the gameplay wasn't noob friendly. So like a guy like me, like I said, try hard, not a die hard. I found it incredibly complicated. So now we're at Mass Effect 2. So we're where we left off was Shepard stops the Reaper invasion. Well, now the galaxy is under attack by the Collectors, and they actually destroy the Normandy. And you, as Shepard, save Joker, who's the pilot of the Normandy. You manage to get him out, but then you are killed, and the Normandy is destroyed, and most of the crew is destroyed as well. But then you wake up. You've been out of it for a couple of years, and this sinister organization led by a man called the Illusive Man. It's called, he leads, Cerebus is what it's called. And so you get introduced to your first 2 squad mates. That's Jacob Taylor, who I'm going to call Taylor from now on just to avoid any confusion since he shares my name. And then also Miranda, who probably should have just been named Karen in the video game. And basically what it is there's a race of aliens that they kind of look like insects. They're called the Collectors. So they're the ones who destroyed the Normandy. They want you to come, or Cerebus wants you to come, and the Illusive Man is kind of this shady character. He's kind of sinister, and you don't fully trust him. You start to trust, in my opinion, and me playing it, I started to trust Taylor a little bit, not so much Miranda, but as the story goes on, he first asks you to handle a few missions and also to recruit. So I recruited one of my favorite characters from the first game, which was Garrus. He's what they call a Turian. He's a sharpshooter. He has like this really cool power where you can where it's like concussive. You recruit a Krogan named Grunt who was cloned, and then you recruit Jack, who was this woman who was part of this experimental thing. You have to break her out of a private prison. You recruit the thief Kasumi, a Geth who is kind of a rebel, because the Geth were the bad guys in the first game, but Legion, he is a Geth who is they want to purge the evil Geth because they're making their citizens look bad or whatever. So you recruit this scientist named Morden, who's a Solarian. He's kind of he's a what you might call a crazy genius, or mad genius is what you would say. You've got Samara, who's a Sari. She is really cool. She's a what you might consider a super, like, kind of like a vigilante, basically. And of course, you've got Thane, who's a Drell. He kind of looks like a cobra or a lizard. Very cool guy. He's a sniper, sharpshooter. You recruit Zahid, who is a mercenary. And then, of course, my personal favorite squad member from the first game is Tali. She's Aquarian. They're a race of machinists and engineers, and they're trying to solve the Geth problem, basically. So you get 12, which is a hefty amount. And you have to go from planet to planet. You have to do things like you have to stop a ship from crashing. It's been attacked by the Reapers and the Geth. You have to save laboratories. You have to get information. You have to go and put a memorial for the crashed Normandy. And that's one thing that Cerebus does for you, is they build you a new ship that looks exactly like the Normandy. Oh, and you recruit the Doctor. She was one of the survivors of the Normandy attack. She's a cool character. She's the one you buy whiskey for in the game. Since this was sort of a private army situation, because you can choose what clothes to wear. I always chose to wear, you can wear like just a jacket and blue jeans and then a shirt under the jacket, and that's kind of what I mostly moved around in. And I was using sort of the basic armor. But I unlocked this one called the Blood Dragon armor, and I loved it. There was a lot of other cool armors, but that one was just my all-time favorite. I used it the whole rest of the game. So as you're going from place, you can also upgrade, and you can use probes to mine planets and get materials, and that's how you get upgrades and whatnot. So basically, the gist of the story is you're hopping from mission to mission. You're also doing what they call loyalty missions, which that is to get the characters loyal to you, and they'll perform better on missions. And that is one thing I will say about this game, is in a lot of these games, when you have like a squad, and you can only take 2 at a time with you, but when you had a squad, you had to they don't really do a lot. That was something that kind of bothered me about Batman Arkham, was when you would team up with Robin or Nightwing, unless you did the team up button, they didn't really do a whole lot, just being honest. But that was Batman Arkham Knight. But not so with this game. They actually did help you, and the more you updated their skills, the more you could do. So I actually failed 2 of them. I failed Miranda because I beat her mission, and so she was loyal to me. But then when you do Jack's loyalty meeting, she and Jack get into an argument because Jack basically accuses Miranda of knowing more about the place where she was experimented on. And Miranda and her are arguing, and I sided with Jack, and so I lost my loyalty to Miranda. So after that, every time I would try to talk to her, she would blow me off. So that was kind of funny. And then I also failed Zahid because he's after this guy who betrayed him, and you have to help him do this. Well, this guy sabotages a factory, so I chose, and you have to choose between helping Zahid kill this guy or the factory member, or helping the factory Well, the factory people were totally innocent. They weren't criminals. So I chose the Paragon, and that's what they call it. If you make a choice that seems more ethical, they call it a Paragon. If you make an unethical choice, they call it Renegade. So I chose that, and he was very upset with me and wouldn't be loyal to me after that. So I failed two, but 2 out of 12 isn't that bad, right? I got all the others. And then my dream team is always Garrus and Tali. And I actually, in the game, you can pursue romantic interests, and I actually pursued a romantic relationship with Tali, which was kind of fun. I don't do that a whole lot in games, but I just thought it was fun, and so I did it this time, and, I guess it was fine. It felt a little inorganic a little bit, but other than that, sure. Well, so that's basically the story. You have a final battle with the collectors, and you have to choose whether to blow up the base or just kill the drones that are in it and whatnot, and let the Cerebus keep it or not. And during that time, a lot of the characters get killed, and many of them get killed depending on the decisions you make, so you have to be very careful. It was really funny because Miranda was kind of annoying me, and she was my least favorite character by the end of it, so I was trying to put her in situations where I thought she would be killed off, and I finally succeeded. It took a long time, I'm going to be honest about it. It was really funny. But anyway, that wasn't until the final battle, but it ends up in the story. You have to face off. You have kind of like the standoff against the Illusive Man and whatnot. So the game mechanics way improved compared to the first game. It was a lot simpler to use. They really streamlined the skill tree aspect of it. Before, I did like the fact that it had a skill tree. I just thought it was a little complicated. They just trimmed it back a little bit, made it a little bit easier to follow and understand. I thought the weapons and how you upgraded them was way better with the whole mining aspect. At first, I didn't like the mining aspect, but it kind of grew on me. It was just, because you just go to all these planets, launch a probe, and you get the materials you want. I will say they had this particular material called Element Zero, and that one was really hard to find sometimes, and that did get annoying after a while. I was like, okay, I need Element Zero, and because I was like flying from planet to planet, and if you go into a different section of that galaxy that you were in, it would take fuel costs. So you had to, and probes are expensive, so you have to take into account the probes and the fuel cost. But yeah, it was really interesting, and on advice of Scratimus, I focused primarily on upgrading the ship, and then also did the weapons and the armor and stuff and whatnot. But one of the things I liked about this one was before, a lot of the upgrades were particular to a certain armor, and that was true here. But they also made it where a lot of the upgrades would apply to all your armors. It was part of a research that Morden would do for you. So that was really cool. I didn't, it was kind of interesting. Once again, I don't get besides Joker and the Doctor, I don't get this whole thing of making the human characters unlikable except for Shepard and I guess the Admiral. I would have liked it if they were a little bit more likable. That's one of the reasons I didn't. Taylor was fine. He was just kind of there. I used him on a couple of missions. He was fine as a sub character. Like I said, I mainly used my dream team, Garrus and Tali. One thing I was a little disappointed in is you couldn't use Liara. You do a mission with her, and she becomes like this criminal power broker, but to control the crime, not necessarily to be the criminal. And I was a little disappointed that you couldn't put her on your team anymore because she was very useful in the first game. But it was cool getting to see her little submission. But anyway, Garrus and Tali were great, and like I said, I would rotate. I would think, okay, am I going to need more power or more speed or whatever for this one? And so I would try to rotate so I wouldn't get stuck in a rut of using the same two characters over and over again. And of course, when I fought the final boss, Garrus and Tali were part of that battle. So yeah, the gameplay was a lot more streamlined, a lot easier to follow. I did think that, like I said, it was a little harder to find Element Zero. I do think it took too much fuel to fly to the next thing, and especially if you were flying to one that was kind of further in that solar system, or edge of the galaxy, whatever it is, nebula. it was kind of frustrating. Some of the side missions I thought were dumb. So like there's this one where you have to fly like this little shuttle thing and you have to use it to scan materials. I did not get the point of that mission. It didn't really offer me anything. Now there was one where you got a new shuttlecraft, and that one was cool because it actually had something to do with the story. But I thought some of the side missions, like the stuff with the like, there's this criminal organization called the Blue Sun. Some of those side missions were a little dumb. As for you know, that's I did think that was I was kind of like, okay, can we move along? But I did like the loyalty missions. I didn't care. Even Miranda's, who, like I said, was my least favorite character. I even liked her loyalty mission. I thought it was fun. That they were, I would have to say probably the best one was Gareth's, and I'm not saying that because he's one of my favorite characters, but it was just to me more straightforward. It was fun to play. I also like Jack's, where you go to the place where she was tortured and you help her destroy it. That one was a blast. I did like that one. Oh, one of the other cool things about this one was you could change the characters' costumes. Not all of them, but several of them have some pretty cool ones. Because like when you first get Garrus, he got fired from his security agency that he worked for, so he's just kind of like this loner. And so the armor he has is damaged because you're helping him get out of a siege that's happening at his base. And so I was kind of like, oh man, I'm really gonna have to play with him having that damaged armor the whole time. But no, you unlock you can buy armor for him and release it. I like that they toned back the politics in this one, because that was one of the things that I thought was a little hefty in the first one. The second one, the politics wasn't as obnoxious. It was still annoying. The reporter, did not like the reporter character, but that's okay. I actually like that part of the game. I think journalism is one of the most hoity-toity things to be in right now. So it was kind of fun. You can kind of blow off the reporter. I did in the first game. I just blew her off. You find out in the second game that she wrote a bad story about you, so you can call her out on that. That's kind of fun. So I'm excited to see if she's in number 3. But anyway, as for the animation, this was a big problem. It was definitely improved in this one, but some of the characters still had like this weird, uncanny valley thing where their eyes, it was still doing this. And Miranda, her forehead was really big, and sometimes, and that was because of the animation. That's not me talking about her personality or whatever, even though I thought it was dumb. And sometimes the way the camera angle would be her talking, because normally the camera focuses on whoever's talking, but sometimes it would focus on her giant forehead, and I'd be like, what is going on here? But it was a lot of fun. So if I was to rate this one with the improved gameplay, better special effects, the story was interesting. Didn't, like I said, wasn't really caring for the side missions. Still kind of have the uncanny valley animation. When I put all these together, if I was to rate it on a scale of 1 to 5, with 1 being bad, 5 being excellent, like I did last time, I would say it's an improvement, so I'm going to give it a 4. Like I said, for the first game, I gave it a 3.5 because of all of its flaws, but this one, I'll give it a 4. I'd say it was an improvement on the first game. It was a lot of fun compared to the first game, especially, and I really liked playing Shepard, and I really enjoyed it more when I got that cool blood dragon armor, which that's on the thumbnail so you can see it. But yeah, I would say that that is kind of my overall thoughts. Let me know in the comments below what you think. If you would like me to do Normie reviews a game. Now, I might say no to a few, but I'm going to start playing Mass Effect 3 right away, and I'll let you know how that one goes, and that'll conclude at least the Mass Effect trilogy as far as my gaming reviews. If you liked that video, please leave me a comment, let me know what you think, give it a thumbs up, and I would be honored today if you would subscribe. No matter what platform you're watching on, please subscribe, hit that follow button, share it out all over the place, and check me out on some of my other socials. I've got links in the description below. Also, check out my website, StudioJakeMedia.com, and consider supporting this channel on StudioJakeMedia.locals.com. It really helps us smaller creators out. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you next time right here on Studio Jake.